1-2 pitch. Hit toward third. Castro has it. Spins. Fires. A perfect game! Roy Halladay has thrown the second perfect game in Philadelphia.
Line drive, right center field, base hit.
Ground ball over the mound. Waits for it. Oh, see, he booted it. One run is in. Here comes Swing, the throw. Save! Harper hits one in the air. Left center field. Back it goes. Harper, the swing of his life. Fastball hit to left. It is long gone. And Hamels with a 3-2 pitch. Swinging a high fly ball deep center field. Herrera back on the track. And did he make the catch? He fell down and he's got.
Here's the strike by Robinson. The 3-0 pitch. Swing a long drive. There it is. Number 500. The career 500th home run.
The left field and is well hit. Ryan Braun looks up. Grand slam home run for Victorino. Others go. 3-2. It's been in the air to right field. It's got beautifully hit. Over.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Bell Smashers Podcast. I'm your co-host, Kylie,
I'm Jen.
And I'm Haley.
and we are back for another season of Phillies baseball. There is 19 days left until pitchers and catchers report, and the Phillies, since re-signing Aaron Nola, have done nothing.
What do you mean? Colby Allard is nothing.
I am so sorry, Colby. But no, they've done nothing at all.
I mean, I agree.
Very boring offseason, to say the least.
Yes. It's frustrating. We know this team has been to the NLCS the last 2 years and won in 2022, but like this offseason, there's names on the board the Phillies can get. Still. There's Jordan Montgomery, there's still Blake Snell for some reason.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy.
It is.
Yeah. I did not expect a two-time Cy Young winner to wait this long to sign somewhere. But, I mean, I guess we're just kind of spoiled with how quick Trey Turner signed, how quick we got Schwarber. I mean, Castellanos took a second, but we've had these sort of quick off seasons with players. And, I mean, I remember after the beginning of this podcast where we were talking about not knowing what to talk about for every week, and every single week there was something happening. But this offseason, there's nothing.
It's the opposite. I mean, I feel like occasionally we'll see the Phillies included in rumors about potentially having interest in someone, but it doesn't turn into anything.
No.
Is it bad that I'm kind of okay with nothing happening this offseason? I know that it's been boring, but at the same time, this is a very talented baseball team. And sometimes when you switch up that dynamic too much, bad things can happen. We see that with other sports. But the point that I am trying to make is maybe the Phillies truly do trust the talent that they currently have, and they just want to let it ride. And yes, pitching is a problem. Getting a stronger bullpen. I mean, I think that's every single baseball team except the Dodgers. Except them, we're probably like, okay, how can we, help out the bullpen? How can we, even with our, starters? I think it's one of those things where we're always going to be looking at that in an aspect. Other than that, I really wouldn't change up that much.
Yeah, there's definitely not there definitely aren't any glaring holes. Obviously the Phillies have a lot of faith in Rojas. they've been looking for a depth piece at that position just in case, but we have the lineup is pretty much set. I mean, we have Martian left, Rojas in center, Castellanos in right, Bryce at first, which we'll get to that whole thing in a second because there's more on the first base situation as of 10 minutes ago.
I don't want to talk
Stott
about
at
it.
second. Yeah, no. Stott at second, Turner at short, Bohm at third, JT at catcher, and the starting five as Stella makes an appearance. We've missed
co-host.
her.
She's our fourth co-host. So
She's our mascot.
Aw.
And we have a rotation of Wheeler, Nola, Ranger, Walker, and it's got to be Sanchez, right?
Yeah, who else would it
At
be
least
at
in the
this
beginning.
point?
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm
we
not
have
upset about
Abel.
it.
I'm not upset about it. It's
Me neither.
like it's okay to not do nothing. We've seen what happens when a team does everything in one off season. Padres,
Yep.
That's what's in.
that's what's in.
You know what?
And-
They deserve to be punched. It's about fighting.
They'll never get old dunking on the Padres.
No, it'll never get old.
Their fall
It
last
is
season really just solidified it all.
absolutely
That's
you
what
feel bad for the fans. You almost feel bad for the fans.
I don't.
But
I'm sorry. They gave me Dallas Cowboys energy. Like it's the same energy. You're going to talk the talk and you're not winning. And yet you're talking like you just, I mean, okay, I can't say 5 because the Cowboys did. Okay. But you're acting like you're the best team currently. And I'm like, okay, that's
Yeah.
cool and all. But did you make a World Series appearance? And if the answer is no, then
No.
shut up respectfully. That's what's in.
I mean, what's annoying is when the Phillies lost in Game 7 to the Diamondbacks, it was the same situation as last year when they lost the World Series to the Astros. The bats eventually got cold.
Yep.
And I don't want to have any hindsight because you never know what could happen in a World Series, but we would have at least made it more competitive than they did.
It was so boring, by the
it
way,
was-
watching the World Series. I wanted to not watch it. I wanted to just ignore it, if that's even a thing. But I was like, you know, it's baseball. It's the World Series. Like, I'm upset. I'm going to watch this anyways. I was bored. And
Yeah.
for you to be bored during a World Series, I know that it's not the MLB's fault. They don't pick and choose who gets to be in it. But it's a bad product. It was.
Yeah.
I mean, they can. They can. I would appreciate if they picked the Phillies more. Like, they can. They
But
just
they
don't.
won't.
They won't.
Ethics. That's what's in.
Never gets old. But I mean, I went to Arizona. The ballpark, the energy wasn't there. The energy got loud when I forget who hit that home run off of Wheeler in the, I want to say seventh or eighth. Somebody in the comments can correct me, or one of you two can correct me. It was 7th or 8th inning. It was like the first pitch of that inning, and then Wheeler shut him down after that. It was hilarious. But it was, at that point, it was like 4-1, and I was like, oh my God, the Diamondbacks are going to come back, and it's going to annoy me. But they
That
didn't.
was some dedication, by the way, flying out to Arizona to see
Yeah,
the
just
Phillies.
for the day, right?
And they won that
It
game.
was, I
a
don't
few.
even think, I
was.
don't even think I was there for 24 hours.
Wow.
But
So you just flew out, you went to the game, and then you just came back?
I flew out,
Like in the evening, the day before.
no, the day of. Like
Oh,
the
wow.
day of, I'm pretty sure.
Did you buy the plane Wi-Fi?
No, so we got the well, I was texting you, Haley, on the plane.
You were.
got-
That's why I was like, how did you do that?
we upgraded the tickets because they were not that expensive at all. So we were just like, yeah, right.
Drinking game. How many times will Haley say that's what's in? Take a shot. Blacked out and brilliant. No, I'm
I was gonna say over under is 10.5.
It's so hard not to say. It's so funny.
I'm just encouraging the happy
funny.
hour.
Right? It's just such an iconic moment, and it was just because we were like, there's no way the Phillies can lose after these guys made that song. No way.
And it lives on the internet forever now.
Forever.
But you know what I think about, though, with how this season ended, and I don't know about you guys, in my head to cope with it, because I get so angry and so annoyed. I was out in Las Vegas, and I was angry, and my parents were like, Kayla, you're on vacation. Like, you can't be this angry. And I'm like, y'all, I could punch a hole in the wall right now. Like, don't play with me.
Pissed.
Absolutely.
I blank it out. Like, it did not happen. Like, the way the season ended, it's like how I coped with them not winning the World Series. You just blank it out. You're like, out of sight, out of mind. But the reality is that did happen. And as much as there was good in the season, there's definitely a lot that does concern me about this upcoming season. And, you know, you can play a fantastic regular season. You know, we've seen that with teams like the Braves that absolutely demolished. but like, I'm sure like the Dodgers, for instance, are going to have a really good regular season. How can they not?
They better. They have Ohtani and Yamamoto.
I'm saying, but when you go to the playoffs, that's a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
And the Phillies, they do a really good job of really bringing the heat. But on the other hand, they went cold. So they brought the heat against the Marlins, they brought the heat against the Braves, and then against the Diamondbacks, they were up. They brought the heat in the beginning. And then once, you know, something perfect doesn't happen for them, once they have a little bump in the road, they don't know how to recover from that. And it's a mental thing, because physically, you can wake up if you're a baseball player and hit a baseball. Like, that's, you know, it's a very, I'm trying to think of the word, but it's like they can do that, right? It's programmed within them. But it's more of like a mental thing. And my question is, if the Phillies, again, they get to the postseason, which I believe they will, are they going to be able to recover if they're down in a series? Are they going to be able to recover if maybe they're not having the best time at the bat in one game? Or are they going to go the next game and approach that as a whole different game? And none of these guys are going to admit this, right? They're never going to say, oh, it's because I was in my head. They're not going to say that. But as fans, as people that observe the game, that watch the game and know how the game works, it's very evident that there was only one thing that didn't go right. And that was that they went cold and they were frustrated. They were swinging too early. What's good, Castellanos? No, I'm playing. I'm not going to call out players, but I am. I'm so mad still. Because it's like, how did they recover from this?
For better or for worse, we talk about this a lot, but their team mentality, it's always like, if one person is struggling, everyone struggles. If one person goes on a hot streak, the rest of them go on a hot streak. And so that's why I think somebody like Rojas actually is really important to the lineup. Somebody like Marsh, people who aren't going to try to hit a home run every single time, who can get singles, doubles, triples. Like, we've been sorely missing that, because the guys at the top of the lineup are always trying to hit it out of the ballpark every single time.
And it's a bad mentality to have.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, Haley.
No, it's okay.
I forget who said it, but I heard something, TikTok, whatever it was perfect. When you sign Castellanos, you sign Kyle Schwarber, ball go boom. You are hitting tanks into the second deck, and you are not looking back. That was the culture in 2022. It got them 2 games shy of winning it all. They come back, they're gutted, they're like, this sucks. You get Trey Turner, a guy who is fast on the bases, who can who's an average guy, who hits for average, who's just an overall baseball player at a position we needed. Miss Eugene Segura, though. And so you do that, but you lose Reese. That is something that I think showed in the postseason this year, because while they dog walked on the Marlins and they pretty much had no issue handling the Braves, when it got deeper into the postseason and some bats started to get a little colder, and Castellanos wasn't hitting nukes twice a game, which was ridiculous. By the way, Harper went cold. Everybody went cold after game 2 for some reason. It was the weirdest thing.
It still bugs me because honestly, I can't comprehend the mentality of always trying to do these big swings, these big, highlight reel plays.
It's not sustainable.
It's not. And like, that's why Marsh, I have to give him a lot of credit because he really did keep the Phillies alive. And so did Alec Bowman that game as well, that game 7.
Careful.
Oh, well, he had a good hit, but I will give them credit, honestly, because I feel like the guy, and even Stott, he's another guy that doesn't try to have these big, I mean, he did get a grand slam against the Marlins, which is kind of cool. But
awesome.
When you go in with that mentality up at bat and your number one focus is, okay, let's get the ball out of the park, that's an awful mentality because you can still win baseball games, believe it or not. Like, but you can still win baseball games if you hit it in the park.
Wow.
Whoa, a line drive. Whoa, what's that concept? Right. I don't know.
A novel concept.
A double in the gap? What does that mean?
Yeah.
It's something that the Phillies don't know how to do. But if they work on that and they're able to, hit the ball into those dead zones, or they're able to just generate something, at least that's better than striking out. At least that's better than a pop-up. There's so many things that are better than what they did. And my question is for Topper, actually. Because this is a good question for him. I didn't ask him this when I saw him the other day because I was like, I'm not going to get into this. What did he tell the guys? Did he say to them, let's go try and make this big play? Or did he say, hey, Kyle, listen, let's just try to get on base. Let's do whatever we can. Mm-hmm. And, a lot of teams like to walk Schwarber, and I don't blame them at all. But once he wasn't hitting and he was striking out, that's a great opportunity for Schwarbs to, try to choke up a little bit, try to draw a walk, just try something.
Mm-hmm.
And they were up in that game at one point.
They were up in game 3, 4, 6, 7. They were up, not 6. 6 is an outlier. 6, Nola gave a back-to-back. That doesn't exist, okay? That is the outlier.
I am so happy I was well behaved when I saw Aaron Nola the other night, by the way. Because I actually was texting with Kylie and Jen. We're in a group chat. Mm-hmm. And I was like, y'all, Aaron Nola's eating dinner behind me. I'm going to talk to him, but I cannot talk to him about last season. I was like, hey, Aaron, you ready for Clearwater? And he was like, how many days? I'm like, 27. And he was like, you're perfect. I'm like, yeah. Yeah, a little ironic. But it just was a bad performance. But as much as I want to be angry, it is a new season ahead. Okay, they choked. Fine.
Yep. How are you going to respond?
Exactly. And we talked about on last episode. Well, speaking of Nola, since he has the new contract, we feel like hopefully he settles in. This is his home for the next 7 years. So
yeah,
let's do it.
Which should inspire him because honestly, after his performance, I'm so surprised they even gave him a contract. And
his postseason was good, except for the literal one game.
Yeah, the game that mattered the most. The game that mattered the most.
Tristan said home runs will naturally happen, and Phillies need to focus on getting hits, not just bombs. And for the love of the sports gods, don't get cold in October again. See, that's the thing.
Perfect, Tristan.
Yeah, that's perfect because we like home runs. Beautiful. We love when home runs happen. We love when they hit Ashburn Alley, second deck in right field. We love them. They're beautiful. They're great. They also happen naturally. Put
You
the
don't
ball in
force a
play.
home run.
Exactly.
It's
Put
natural.
the ball
off
in
the bat.
play. Yeah. Put the ball in play. Beautiful things will happen.
Mm-hmm.
We saw that with Bohm's walk-off in the Dodgers when Muncy booted it. We saw it when Trey Turner just hit the ball in between second and short against San Francisco. We've seen the small ball work.
And just don't overthink it. Just
Yeah.
wait for your pitch. Like, that's what we tell my nephew.
I like that.
Wait for your pitch.
How to win a baseball game. Don't overthink it.
Don't overthink.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just find a spot that you like to hit in. When a baseball looks like it's going into that one spot, swing.
Yep.
And I mean, I know it's always not as easy, but that's what I'm doing at MLB The Show, and I'm batting 350. That's all I'm going to say. When the Phillies lost the World Series in 2009, I was sore over that, but they acquired Roy Halladay, so it was a fresh and positive start. No big acquisitions this offseason. Yeah, I think that's the thing that's kind of frustrating us a little more. Like when we lost the World Series in 2022, okay, we got Trey Turner. Like we're like Red October, baby. Like we're ramping it up again. A postseason hitter, just a regular hitter. So we're like, all right, cool. And then got Taijuan Walker, beautiful, another pitcher. They traded for Michael Lorenzen. I know he only had 2 wins.
Michael Lolo with the no.
Yeah.
Which
Still an iconic moment.
Honestly, I want to bring him back.
I wouldn't mind it.
Like, give me Fujinami and Michael Lorenzen.
Yeah.
Give
But
me Taro Fujinami and Michael Lorenzen, and I'm happy.
yeah, and I get Brian, that was a really good comment. Thank you.
Yeah.
We'll also have a full season of healthy Bryce though. And
yeah, that's
Trey
so,
not being in his head.
So that's the thing, because obviously Rhys Hoskins just signed with the Milwaukee Brewers. And
we can get into it now, I guess.
Yeah. Well, we all appreciate Rhys for what he did for not only the team, but for this city with his charity and what, Jamie did for the fans in the postseason. Jen, I know you have a story with that. What he did for the fan base, the city, the organization, he was the light in the dark. When this organization was losing hope, these prospects were not working out. Yeah, we had Aaron Nola, but that was it. Nobody else was working out. We weren't making the playoffs. We were losing to the Mets, the Nationals, the Braves, everybody. Rhys was the one that really brought us hope for the future. And then, we got Harper, who I can guarantee Rhys helped get Harper.
I agree. I saw last episode he was in the All-Star game with Bryce in 2018. Yep. So if they hadn't interacted before, that was a lot of quality time.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, what Rhys has done for this team, the extent we'll never know, because we can speculate all we want that he got Bryce and whatever. But he's in Milwaukee now. We all wish him the best. He's going to wear number 12 for those who haven't seen.
Yeah.
He's wearing number 12. Yeah, you see yeah.
Them bots need to get out of here.
Yeah, we got a bot comment on Twitch.
Lovely.
But so we all love Rhys. It's unfortunate that it went like this and we didn't get a proper farewell tour. We saw him I think, Jen, you were at this game where Rhys came out to throw the first pitch. And
yeah, I was there.
All that stuff. Yeah. So there's a lot of positive things we can say about Rhys. But now Bryce is at first. That really saves his elbow.
Yeah, it does.
It sucks to say, because if we didn't have Schwarber or Castellanos, Rhys would be here.
I mean, yeah, the Phillies have multiple players that work in the DH spot. So right now they have a first baseman and they have a DH. So between Casty and Schwarber. And yeah, we're getting more comments. So I want to see these.
I have a really funny Rhys Hoskins story.
Oh boy.
Okay. So it's a little inappropriate, so I'm not going to say exactly what it was. But basically, people were mad at Hoskins in the playoffs of 2022 because he wasn't doing well. This was before the bat spike. And I was like, I made a tweet and I said, listen, like, we got to support Rhys. Like, he's going to ball out. Like, just give him time. So somebody said to me, they tweeted me and they said, and at the time I did different like Twitter, like username was like an NHL thing. And
I've
they
seen it.
said, at, you know, my name at the time, Haley, whatever it was, go F yourself and Rhys Hoskins, go pack his bags in the offseason. F you for supporting him. He's a
I remember this.
He had the bat spike a couple games later. So I went and I tweeted at the guy. And I was like, yeah, things that didn't age well, this. And the guy deleted his account.
Good.
But Hoskins, I will always defend Hoskins for numerous reasons. The Phillies, like, I know that there's people that have recently gotten into baseball, and which is cool. Like, I support it. Like, you know, I'm happy to have, you know, different people here. But including her gut. God, I said that's probably me. But you know, for so many years, the Phillies, I'm gonna be honest, they sucked. They were not fun to watch.
No.
And if you watch Phillies baseball, you probably endured a lot of negativity, right? You were just angry all the time. But the one bright spot was Hoskins, and he truly was the person to watch, the person that actually made it a little bit more enjoyable because it was not enjoyable. So I feel like a lot of people that maybe are newer into Phillies baseball don't really understand the significance of Hoskins and why we're so upset about him not, you know, being here and what he truly meant to all of us passionate fans. And it's because we had to endure one of the worst eras of Phillies baseball. And we are so lucky that we had him. But he's more than these past, you know, couple seasons of, you know, this. It's hard to put into words. He was Phillies.
Thank you.
I agree. In such a good way. Such a good player. And, you know, injuries suck. And it really does suck that he couldn't play this season. But, man, like, I don't root for other teams. That's one thing about me. But I root for players. So I'm rooting for Hoskins. I'm not rooting for another team. No. Like, I'm like, don't get me caught up in that wrong way. Only Phillies, but you can root individually. And I really hope that he does have a good season and they find some success out of Milwaukee.
I appreciate both of you.
Hoskins Smash Baseballs in Reading.
Hello to our friends.
Thanks for the burner account. Hey, no, I'm joking.
I appreciate
June 3rd, baby. You can boo him then.
Obviously, people know he's on my shirt. I have my cup.
Yeah, Jen doesn't like him at all, clearly.
Yeah, Jen, biggest hater.
Also, hi, Lindsay. I saw you're on there. Yeah, the Rhys girlies are not doing well. So send your local Rhys girlie a message of support. And it is possible, again, speaking of comments, I got a comment along these lines. It's possible to be sad that he's leaving and also happy for him.
Yes.
You know, to get this opportunity. Yeah, he's getting paid a lot to prove himself on another team. And he deserves that. He deserves the money. He deserves the opportunity. He deserves what's best for him and Jamie and his entire family. So that's my take. Again, it's both and both are possible. Like we said, there's no more room for him on the Phillies.
Too.
Oh, hi, Stella.
Stella has a couple words about Rhys. Yep, sums it up. She is silent because she is shocked that this even happened. No, I'm playing. Stella loves this podcast. Like, I think she genuinely likes you guys because whenever we do the podcast, she's always like looking at the screen. I think maybe she likes you. She likes Phillies baseball.
I will love her too. I want to meet her in person.
She's so fluffy.
You know what? We'll have an event for the podcast, and it'll be a Stella meet and greet, and I'll just have her in her stroller.
Yes.
Absolutely should.
Please do.
For those that are listening, that maybe we're not physically watching this, and you're like, "Why did I just begin cracking up?" I can't say it.
I know.
Can't say it.
Just
Can't say it.
somebody said.
No.
Again, our friends, our
Somebody
good
said
friend in the
we're
comments.
It's inappropriate.
Oh, God. So sometimes I wonder. Sometimes I question doing this live, and this is one of
Amazing.
those
This is
moments.
honestly funny. I needed that laugh. I was so sad about Reese, and then I see this comment, and it's like, you know what? Honestly, 10 out of 10. Sometimes in life, you need to take things a little bit lightheartedly and laugh. And right now, we're getting heated. We're getting emotional. Sometimes it's like, yeah, I'm going to laugh at some like third grade kind of comment.
Absolutely.
And
yeah, so it's official on social media as well.
Yeah, which
makes
means
it really
you
real.
pass the physical and it's official. Like it's happening.
Yeah.
So I thought you were talking about that, and I looked at something that the Flyers put up, and I was like, oh, and then I'm like, oh wait, wrong sport.
Yeah. So with Reese gone, Bryce at first. Currently, Rojas at center and Marsh at left. Castellanos at right. So I said I would love to get well, at first I wanted Jock Peterson. And then he gave us the biggest tease and goes to Arizona. Fine. You're dancing on your own. Enjoy that. But
ooh, bird.
I want to see them try to get Shintaro Fujinami and one like they're not gonna Blake Snell and Jordan Montgomery probably are not gonna happen. I don't see it happening. They both have interest in different teams. I see Jordan Montgomery staying in Texas. I see Blake Snell. He's not going back to the Padres. They can't afford him. Can't afford anybody. So that's out. But Lorenzen, Fujinami, and another bench bat because Jake Cave ain't it.
No.
Jake Cave ain't it.
Absolutely not.
No.
And we
not say that name.
Yeah.
Right. So I think they should go more for a bench bat than they should for a pitcher. I know that's usually against what I've been saying and against my beliefs of never having enough pitching. But we have Cody Clemens in the minors. Very good timing.
Boo.
Oh, come on. Cody's really nice.
I don't care about how he's nice or not nice. We're just gonna
better than Cave.
Don't
Cave is making $8 million this year.
If I have a name, I will punch. And if anybody in the comments
Cave is making $1 million this year.
Yeah.
$1 million.
So I would rather not make $1 million than have everybody hate me for my incompetency when it comes to baseball.
I
hate him.
So it's different. The pitching situation is kind of different because we do have pitching in the minors. The Phillies seem to be hell-bent on making Griff McGarry a starter. I personally disagree with that.
Yeah.
Just move him to the bullpen. It's okay. Do not have this be a Spencer Howard situation.
I agree.
Relief pitching is just as important as starting pitching.
Mm-hmm.
Relief pitching is why we lost the NLCS this year.
Mm-hmm.
Relief pitching is why we lost the World Series last year. Blown saves. Well, not the World Series. They got no hit in Game 4. So pitching gets a pass in the World Series. But the NLCS, Kimbrel blowing saves, Kirkering for some reason not being able to strike out pitchers. But he excites me.
He does.
We have pitching. We don't have bats in the minors.
Right.
And the bats we have at the bench, the best one off the top of my head without any full memory is Edmundo Sosa.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Got to get a bench bat. I mean, we have Pache. Pache is good. I like Pache.
No.
But we need more. They need more.
They do. And that's why
it's okay.
But it's okay. It's you have to believe that they're thinking these things.
Yeah, you have to. Like, everybody was thinking, why are you putting Kyle Schwarber on defense why are you putting him in left field so much? He's clearly a bad defender. And then in the postseason, change.
So bad.
Yeah.
So bad.
But Topper mismanaging at the end of the season.
Oh my gosh. Cost him his job. It should have. I'm sorry. I'm not, and this is my problem. I understand sometimes in life we're all about giving these, these managers, these players a second chance. I'm one of those people where it's like, if you're going to choke in the big moments, then this isn't the organization for you. Because honestly, we're going to be now a couple years out of that World Series appearance. You choked in the playoffs last year with mismanagement. The bats didn't get hot. A lot of stuff went wrong. And what am I going to do? Have another season of, oh my gosh, we're going to get back into the postseason again and choke. That's how it's going to be. We're going to become the new 76ers with that second round. I don't want to be the team that was close to winning it all. You have Bryce Harper, and you're not going to win a World Series? Are you kidding me?
They don't win a World Series with Bryce Harper.
They had an opportunity last season. All they had to do was beat the Diamondbacks. And I know for a fact they would have won the whole entire thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
They could have. I don't know. The Rangers were on a freaking
It's okay.
Wait, right? I'm going to say again, though, Topper's not the one hitting the ball at the end of the day.
He put Craig Kimbrell in.
No,
I know that, but I need to say that.
Players, he is the one that's supposed to manage correctly. He is the one that's making these decisions. Charlie Manuel, one of the best of all time, was able to get the Phillies a ring, and he was able to get them back to the World Series the following year. He was phenomenal. And you know why people like Charlie? Because he still to this day inspires. He still to this day has great baseball knowledge that sticks with these guys. But Topper, and him not using Walker, that's another thing.
Yeah, I'm not saying I disagree. So I think
it's not you that I'm upset with. Yeah. It's Topper. I feel like I give the energy of just an upset Philadelphia sports fan that doesn't see many positives. It's frustrating because, we all want the Phillies to win. All three of us that do this podcast, all of you fans, and you have to question their postseason decisions. And, this guy, he got lucky, his first season going to the World Series. It was talent, but it was also, come on, what are the odds?
You always need luck to go your way.
Yeah. And last season, it just was a really bad ending. I'm going to be honest with you. It's not even that I was disappointed. I was embarrassed because because this is a team that should have won. But, at the end of the day, they asked me what I would do if we didn't win. And here I am. So
I guess we'll never know.
Yeah.
I was putting Kanye West, kind of. I was doing my remix. But I think that it's okay for, we all have different viewpoints on this. And I think that's what makes this podcast so great, is that Jen has her viewpoint, Kylie has her viewpoint, I have my viewpoint, and I'm sure all of you do too. Because if we all agreed on something, it would be the most boring podcast. It would be like, okay, do any of them have different opinions? But all three of us, we all have different viewpoints on, last season. We all have different viewpoints about what they need to do. And the one common thing that I think that we all have is that we just want them to win.
Absolutely.
But we all have different avenues of how they should get there. So I think that makes this podcast very unique in a way, because there's so many things out there these days that are just so boring. And it's like everyone just agrees. And I'm like.
In addition to being the only all-female Philadelphia Phillies podcast.
How cool is that, by the way, that we can say that?
It's the best.
It's
and Marley, who does our graphics.
Love you, Marley. She's
a woman.
She's amazing.
The fire comments.
Love it.
But it's like one of those things, like, we're all female Philadelphia sports fans doing a podcast for another season. And we have such a great following for, being a newer podcast. And I think it's just like a really cool thing that we get to do. And I think it's I can't like curse, but it's like bad and a blank word, but We're just out here talking the baseball. I hate this place.
Yeah.
I'm joking. I love this
No,
place.
no.
So it depends on the day.
Right now, call me Alec Bohm after the errors because I hate this place. But
I say that all the time.
tough. Yeah, no, me too. Little too often. Got to be honest.
Especially with the Eagles season.
Dude.
Oh, right.
They hired Vic Fangio, and I'm not okay. So that is a completely separate rant for another day.
I'm fine with the hire.
Thanks, Tristan. Thanks, Tristan.
Thanks,
And
Tristan.
Marley.
Thanks,
And
Marley.
Marley.
We love you too. The best graphics.
Not for real though. But so like, obviously, we want this group of weirdos to win
because they are weird. Factual.
They're so weird.
So weird.
In the best way possible. But if Bryce Harper does not get at least bare minimum one World Series ring, that might be the biggest crime in baseball.
Well,
that's a lie.
I don't think we should put this out there in the universe. I think
he's gonna get a ring.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't care. These athletes can take it. It's their job to be mentally strong. Sometimes we're going to criticize you, and it is going to be a crime. If he doesn't get a ring with the Phillies,
it's a crime.
Then people are going to look back.
I think it will happen.
But then, okay, here's the thing, though. People are going to look back at the Bryce Harper legacy, and they're going to say, "Oh, well, the Nationals won it, right after he left."
Yeah,
and that's what they're going to think of. They're going to be like, "Oh, he couldn't win a ring. How can you say that he's one of the best?" When you look at guys that I obviously the Hall of Fame, votes and ballots, all that happen. But you look at the guys from the Phillies, Jimmy Rollins, World Series, Chase Utley, World Series. It has significance to say that you won the bleeping World Series. How can Bryce not be motivated? How can he sit there and say, "Oh, I had a good time here in Philadelphia. I took us to the playoffs for the first time in 12 years. I don't care, bro. I don't care."
This is a fair point.
Win the whole thing.
This is a good point.
So,
we should read it for the listeners.
Sorry. Some of it is on Bryce, though. He fell apart at the end of the World Series and the end of the NLCS. So, here's a really very quite frustrating fact about the World Series or the NLCS. And warning, because this is frustrating. Bryce Harper was, I forget the measurements, but he was ridiculously close to another Bedlam at the Bank. That last hit he had, the one where he needed to hit a home run, but he popped out, that was ridiculously close to another Bedlam at the Bank. So while Bryce Harper did fall apart in both the World Series and the NLCS, remember that little fact about the NLCS. I know it's,
but yeah, I believe that he carries the weight of the team and the city on his shoulders, and he's going to play that way.
Are we happy with the Ryan Kirkring being the closer, though? I don't think he's going to be the closer. It's going to be Alvarado.
I think he'll be one of them. I think he'll be in rotation 100%. I think that here's my thing about him. I actually like him. I think that they put him in a really tough position last year in the NLCS. I think that, again, he's a guy that if you give him like a couple games here and there, he's going to play well. The problem that the Phillies did was they overplayed him and they put a lot of these high pressure moments on him. So I think that if you just put him in a situation where he can actually be more successful, then it's going to be a good thing. I just think that they need to be careful and manage him properly. So he doesn't get, in a sense, overpowered by some of these other teams that do have strong hitters.
And he's still such a new player. He advanced all those levels in just a few months. So he needs a full season at the major league level.
Yeah. Well, I'm going into spring training and therefore the season hoping it's more of the same with him in that sense, because dude just was filthy. But was it because he was a brand new arm and they hadn't seen anything of him? We don't know. We all know that hype gets brought up about a new prospect that starts hot and they're like, oh my God, and then they just kind of slow down. We've seen Ellie De La Cruz do it. We've seen a couple other guys do it recently. So it was the most the kid had ever pitched in his baseball life while that he was even there in the playoffs. Exactly. Yeah. So it's going to be exciting to see what Kerkering does. I'm going into this purposely with no expectations because we don't know. We barely knew who the kid was before he got called up.
Yep.
He was making his rounds, getting called up, dominating, just throwing heat. But in Major League Baseball, they're always trying to one-up you. They're always trying to find out what your tells are, if you're tipping pitches, what all of that stuff is.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens with him. I know he got called up all the way to the big leagues for a reason. He may not even make it out of camp. Exactly. He really may not make it out of camp. We do not know. It's best to see, just go in with no expectations. Whatever happens. If he's back on the team, that's perfect. That's great. We want that. Just we'll see what happens with that. There's a lot of unknown with him, pretty much. We've seen this.
And obviously, we want him to be successful. So it's just one of those things where we don't know his status yet. But we're assuming that if he does make it, then they're not going to use him a whole lot.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. That's a good point. There's so much unknown with him that anything can happen. He can either be playing a lot, he could play not much, he could be down in the minors again. No one knows. It's probably gonna suck for him if he doesn't, because he just had this wild ride and then he's back in the minors. So that would be unfortunate. But hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully he is the exact person he was last year before the postseason.
And again, hopefully it motivates him too.
Yeah, hopefully.
At the highest level.
Hoffman will be so much fun to see.
I loved watching Hoffman pitch.
He was a lot of fun to watch. And then, of course, we all know, followers of the podcast know who Jordan Disson is. Disson, who played for Clearwater last year.
Friend of our podcast,
caught a Ryan Kerkering in the beginning of the season. That is unheard of.
Yeah.
Like, bottom line is we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what the Phillies are thinking. We don't know. Like, he's going to be in big league spring training, obviously. What does he do after that? We'll find out. I'll be there for a week. Are any of you going? Forgot to ask you guys.
I have purchased my plane tickets. You know how, last year I went the first weekend. This year I'm planning to go.
And you saw Trey Turner's first at-bat ever?
I did.
Yeah.
It was so fun. This time I was planning to go the last weekend. I don't have my game tickets yet, and still organizing the logistics with the same best friend I went with last year. So it's a maybe. It's a highly likely maybe from me.
So I will be in Florida a little bit in March for hockey, obviously. The Flyers, they play the Panthers and then the Lightning. But being said, the Phillies also will be having some spring training games, so I'm going to try to get to one. It might be an away game, but I'm going to try to see it. Obviously, my life revolves around hockey at the moment.
Of course.
But I'm like, oh, well, I'll be in Florida. The Phillies obviously will be in Florida. Let's try to do this.
An away game would be cool too, just to see.
Yeah. Well, the area in Florida where all my family lives is where the Mets play.
Oh.
Okay, I know. But you know what the funny thing is, though? You can really...
Are they playing Boca?
Yeah, it's by like Boca, yeah. but you can troll these people. You just be like, oh, how did the Mets do? And then they don't know what to say.
Well, the
So-
Phillies fans travel well. Like there would be other Phillies fans.
Oh yeah, no, that whole area is like all Philly, basically. Not a lot of
Amazing.
New York people in that area, so it's a lot of Phillies fans. So
Perfect.
it's fine. You know what it is? And I was thinking about it. Does it feel like it's almost about to be baseball season? Because for me, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
Today, because it was 80 degrees where I live today, but
80.
yeah, it literally hit 80 degrees.
It's
Wait,
64 right now, but it was 75 when I got off
Wait,
work.
like out on these streets, it's not like freezing?
No, it was hot and humid today. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna be for real. I go to work at like 4 a.m. I come home around like 10:30, whatever.
Yeah.
So you get the cold.
I get the cold.
Yeah,
don't
but like
go
during,
to-
I mean, I didn't.
So it's like crop top season.
That's it,
Let's
Port St.
go.
Lucie. That's right. That's right.
Yep, and that's where I have family, like kind of like in that area. But I'm not gonna give out the addies. But yeah, wow, I'm like looking on my streets and I'm like looking to see what people are wearing.
I know.
This is one thing I also want to talk about.
Okay.
Mick Abel. I don't know.
Valid.
Like because
Same.
with these two, like Painter is Painter, and like that dude's gonna hopefully just be stupid. But we're not gonna see Painter until he's not gonna see this season. Like I would like for him to be able to see maybe at the end of the year, but he's not even gonna, like, if he does come back to play games, it's not gonna be at the major league level. They're gonna start him low.
Mm-hmm.
So I really do not see him at all ever touching a Citizens Bank Park mound ever this year. So next year it's gonna be a lot of fun to anticipate. Year 3 is gonna be fun for this podcast. But with Mick Abel, a number 6 starter after the trade deadline, kind of like a Michael Lorenzen sort of thing, to give Walker, Wheeler, Nola some breaks to get ready for the postseason. I could see that happening. I mean, I'm definitely not opposed to it. I just want to see him get more pitching in Lehigh Valley, because
I think that's the key. We've all seen people getting promoted too soon, pitchers and position players.
I was there for his debut in AAA, and it was encouraging to see. It was encouraging to see him get out of the trouble that he got himself into, all but one time. I believe he only allowed 1 run. I can look it back up, but I believe it was only 1 run allowed. So he did get into some trouble, but he got himself out of that trouble. So that was good to see. That's what I like to see out of a pitcher. Can you get out of the trouble you get yourself into?
We saw.
Yeah. Haley, why?
The Brewers let me say what Haley's showing. The Brewers had the audacity to do the bat spike and then update Reese's jersey into a Milwaukee Brewers jersey.
Yep, they did.
I'm not going to lie. Whoever did that Photoshop is actually really good.
I know, that was clean.
Yeah, it's clean, but it's disrespectful.
Because that's one of the best moments that he's ever had as a Philadelphia Philly. And it's like, don't touch that. That is
Would you say that's your favorite moment? Because that's my favorite moment. I was there for it. It's my favorite.
He's had a lot of good moments. It's hard to, and like, I know the bat spike is probably the most memorable thing, and it will be. But I mean, throughout his entire time of being a Philly, there's so many things, and it's hard to pinpoint one thing.
That's what I said.
I agree.
I would say like a compilation of moments, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think in terms of most memorable, that would be it.
I liked Petty Reese, especially playing against the Mets, and just like the time he trotted around the bases. Such an underrated moment of his, but yeah, I loved when he was petty, when he was cocky, like Golden retrievers can get mad too.
Yeah, for sure. Clearly.
I'm mad every day.
Right.
Exactly.
No, I'm really not. It is what it is.
Does Bryce Harper winning a new contract pop back up again?
I'm not sure.
Because we got to re-sign. We're probably going to re-sign Wheeler.
I mean, that should be the priority, honestly.
That is apparently their priority right now.
Good.
Since they lost out on Yamamoto. It's going to happen. You'd be stupid not to.
Yeah.
Like
that's why I'm not stressing about it. Because it's going to happen.
He wants to play for us. He's going to play for us. We knew it was going to be an underpay, and it is a massive underpay. And this is exactly what Bryce Harper knew going into this. It's not he loves the city. Anybody would love playing for the city that's like him. He knew what he was doing with that contract. He knew. He knows that he knew he was going to perform, and he knew that he was going to be a fan favorite for the Phillies. And he knows, and he knew that if the Phillies were to in any way mishandle him as a ball player, they would be forced to relocate to Canada. He knew that, and he knows that.
And we know
Middleton knows that.
Yeah, and Bryce is a Boris client, as we all know. So sometimes
it's also a Boris client. Stott.
Sometimes it's a strategy, a Boris strategy as well. Just kind of start planning.
You know who's not?
Who?
Me. I'm not cool enough.
Me neither.
Are you hitting tanks into the second deck?
Listen, they want to put me out there and give it a go. I'll try 100%.
Hey, we talked to Mark Capella about this charity.
We have to do this charity event.
Let us hit tanks.
Oh man, that was a good idea too. Phillies charities. I would love to work with Phillies charities.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
No,
I would love to do stuff for them.
Because doing some with Flyers charities, I mean, it's truly awesome. Like the different outreach they have for the community. So I think like something like that with the Phillies could be fun. So let's give it a go. Put them dingers,
bell smashers, and Phillies charities.
Yes.
Yeah, making them bell smash for the kids.
For the kids.
About Abel, the stuff he has is nasty. If he can have a tiny bit more control, he's going to be a solid number 2 or 3. Yeah, he's not going to be a bona fide like ace, but he's gonna he's gonna be good. He's just got to get better control, and
Ace Abel.
I think he will. I'd like to see y'all try to hit an 80-mile-per-hour fastball. Dude,
Kylie really wants to do it.
I have said this for the longest time. All I want in life is to have a pitcher throw 100-mile-an-hour heaters down the middle for me just so I can try to foul it off. I just want to try. That's all I want to try. That's all
I'm not going to try. I'm going to be there watching you try.
The ball may not hit the bat, but it might hit me.
That's right.
There you go.
So
either like as long as I know it's going to be down the middle, if it's going to be down the middle, and just I know it's not going to hit me. I know I can have a shot at potentially getting contact.
That makes me nervous. I would put protective gear on you so you don't break any bones or anything.
Well, if it's guaranteed to just go straight down the middle, I'm fine. I'm fine. That's it. I'll be good.
I'll wear a helmet.
Yeah. Definitely need a helmet at least.
I don't know. Listen, you win some, you lose some.
Swing before the ball even comes out of the hand. Exactly.
Baseball is simple. You just have to swing, hit the ball, and run.
There you go. Advice for the 2024 Phillies.
Yeah, it's so simple. Just hit a baseball. Just hit a baseball. It's so simple.
Did you guys see that comment?
Now imagine Alvarado at a 98-mile-an-hour cutter. Dude.
You know, we love Alvarado here on Bell Smashers.
Yes, we do. All right. Well,
anyway, this is my plant who is named Reese.
Oh my gosh, Jen's really down bad right now.
Yeah, she is.
Some
Very,
people
very
have
down
pets.
bad.
I have this plant.
Yeah. God. Okay. Well, that concludes another episode of Bell Smashers.
Yeah,
you know,
wait, no.
What, is
We
this
got one
season
more
2?
thing. One more thing. I forgot.
Yes.
Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Utley, 28%. Rollins, 14%.
It's a
I was
In
sin.
his
looking,
second year.
which is atrocious, but
Horrible.
apparently it was Helton's 6th year on the ballot, and when he started, he got 16.5%.
Yes.
So that's not to say, like, I hope Rollins, gets in sooner, but
Utley's going to
there's
get
hope.
it. Utley coming off the first year at 28%
Is
great
great.
sign.
Yeah.
He's not a first ballot Hall of Famer, but that 28.8%, very, very encouraging for Utley. It was Rollins' second year, if I remember correctly. And
I wrote down 3rd year, but I might have
third year? I don't remember.
2nd or 3rd.
I'm concerned.
Me too.
I'm concerned.
Me too.
Rollins and Utley were the cornerstone of that 2007 to 2011 team.
Mm-hmm.
Rollins, Utley, Howard were the staple.
Yep.
Oh, I wanted to mention this because I put up a Twitter poll, by the way, before we began the episode, which is something I think I'm going to do before each episode of the podcast. Just that way we can, talk to our friends on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. And I said, how would you grade the Phillies this offseason? 0% for A, 20% for B, 47% for C, and 33% for D and F. A lot of people said incomplete, but a lot of votes. So, yeah, clearly, as I was saying, not much to talk about with this offseason. And, not much you can say, but I wanted to put that out there. So thank you to everybody that follows on Twitter.
Yeah.
Bell Smashers Pod.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Thank you. And
I knew that.
Everyone who commented today. And now we can see your Twitter/X comments as well. So
yeah, finally.
Yeah. Thank you.
Shout out StreamYard for that.
Yes. Shout out to StreamYard. That's what we use. So we love them.
Any final thoughts on the Phillies? I can tell Haley has some.
I like baseballs.
There you go. There you go. Jen?
Reese, I love you. I always will. You and Jamie both. I did get one of the free Jamie Hoskins beers, and I actually gave her little things that I thought she would like a golden retriever sticker. So I hope she felt special in that moment because it was a highlight for me. And yeah, I will be there on June 3rd when Reese comes back to Philly.
Me too.
And I'm also going to plan to go when he comes to DC. So I'll never stop supporting him.
No, never stop supporting. And Schwarber's contract is up in 2 years.
I know. Some people are already saying,
keep that thought in your mind, everybody. Keep the thought in your mind. Just saying.
We'll see.
My final thought is thank you, Reese, and good luck.
Love it.
We will see you guys.
And I will still fight Blooper.
That's right.
Dude, opening day, we're squaring up with Blooper. There you go.
Bring it on.
We'll see you guys.
At CBP, I'll be like, Ayo, who wants to fight me? No, I'm joking.
Please don't offer that.
WWE style.
WWE. UFC.
God. All right. We'll see you guys shortly with the rest of our shenanigans.
As always.
Thank you for listening.
Bye, guys.